1. Love Talk Radio.
Broadcasting from Cincinnati, you're listening to the Ringside Reporter podcast. All the news from the world of boxing right here.
Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you.
Now, here's your host, Eric Lorda.
And we are live. Welcome to the Ringside Reporter show, where we talk about the latest boxing news. If it's related to boxing, we'll talk about it here. My name is Eric Lorta, and I'm here with my co-host Ringside Robert and England's adopted son, Joe Habib. And we have a great Thursday episode for you. If you want to call and ask questions, you can call in right now at 323-870-3857. And we'll be here till about 8:30, 9 o'clock tonight. Robert's going to make the call. He'll determine when we get out of here and all that other good stuff, because he's the man. He lets us know. Today,
That's right.
That's right. Today we're going to talk about Shakur Stevenson. He finds himself in the hot seat after a video surfaces from June of last year. We're also going to talk about Robbie's boy, Paulie Malignaggi. At it again. Boy, you need to get your boy in check, son.
Well, I don't live in New York, so somebody else is going to have to deal with him.
Wow. Robbie said he disowned him. Hey, did I mention, Beeb, that we were on Showtime? I don't know. Did I mention that we made it to All Access? I don't know if I mentioned that or not. I don't like to brag about it, obviously. You know me, I'm a very humble guy.
A great portion of that interview that we did with Clarissa Shields.
I'm just saying.
Your
No,
voice,
Christina Hammer.
Christina Hammer.
Christina Hammer.
Christina Hammer, I meant to say. Excuse me.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, we made it to Showtime. How about that? What do you think about that, Robert?
Hey, I think that's cool, man, and you guys did do a great interview.
There it is. All right, but first, let's get started with ESPN. Oleksandr Gvozdyk versus his real name, Doudou Ngumbu. This, again, that's how they pronounce it. That's how they pronounced it, correct? Am I wrong?
That is correct.
They didn't say Dow. They said Doudou.
It's
Gvozdyk
Doudou.
wins via TKO in the 5th round when Ngumbu could not continue due to a calf injury. This was an odd one. I mean, we see injuries like this from time to time, like leg injuries and stuff. The one that comes to mind right off the bat was who was it? The heavyweight fight with Prince Charles? What was his name? Prince Charles, the guy who fought Anthony Joshua and got knocked out.
Prince Charles Martin.
Martin, that's right, Charles Martin. And his opponent, when he won the heavyweight championship, well, when he won that title,
it was against Malik Scott, Eric.
Yeah,
Malik Scott. Yeah.
Yeah, but he went down with a leg injury. So
That's right.
So that's got to be painful. But it turns out that Ngumbu actually tore his calf muscle, which I can't even imagine how much pain that is. I mean, that is a lot of pain. Yeah. But everything came back and they actually tore his calf muscle. Now, you guys actually saw the fight. I was out of town on hiatus, but B, walk me through this. I mean, was this a good fight? I mean, was this worth? I mean, was it close? Was it ever in doubt? I mean,
Ngumbu is just so awkward and he's just so wild with everything he was doing, and I think Gvozdyk was a little bit taken aback by the awkwardness and the wild punches that were being thrown at him. So he sort of just laid back and left Ngumbu to his own devices, so to speak, because Ngumbu was just wide with everything. He was winging everything from left field. He really didn't set anything up with the jab or anything. He was just very unorthodox. So Bostick just laid back and let him come to him. And it was just basically pot shotting him a little bit. Really wasn't putting a ton of shots together, but he was just, to me, just doing enough to win the rounds. Didn't seem like he was really putting his foot on the gas pedal. He didn't have any sense of urgency. And, he won every round. But Ngumbu, because he's so awkward, every now and then one would slip by because he's throwing these shots from left field. But at the end of the day, it just looked like an uninspired performance from Gvozdyk. I don't know if it was because of there wasn't a lot of hype behind the fight. Did he fight down to the level of his opposition? Did he just say, I'm just going to cruise here and do enough to win the rounds? But this was not a fight in which Gvozdyk looked impressive. Fresh off of the heels of that fight with Adonis Stevenson, he had a lot of momentum. And this fight really didn't give him any added momentum. Didn't probably take much away, but it didn't add anything. So I just thought this was a very uneventful fight. And it was very odd how it ended with the torn calf muscle, because that's a real rare injury. But at the end of the day, Gvozdyk won the fight, but it left people thinking, I don't know, is this guy really the best? I know he's the linear champion, but is he the best? What would happen if he had that type of performance against a guy like, Better Beeb or Bival or Marcus Brown, whatever? But again, we saw what he did when he fought Adonis Stevenson. He rose to the occasion. So I would like to think he could rise to the occasion when he steps up and fights those guys too. But all in all, like I said, wasn't a barn burner of a fight, to say the least.
Do you think Marcus Brown wipes this guy?
I'll tell you what, the thing about Gvozdyk is he's very versatile. And he showed a lot of wrinkles in that Stevenson fight because he was coming out boxing from the outside, and then he started walking Stevenson back and pushing him back, and then he started turning the fight into an inside battle. And he also did some good counter punching in that fight. So I think Marcus Brown is better with his athleticism. From an athletic standpoint, I think he's got more gifts in that department. Both guys, I don't know who hits harder. Marcus Brown's bigger. It would be a very interesting fight, and I'll tell you why. Because of the versatility of Gvozdyk, being able to show those different looks, number one. And number two, he's a pretty skilled counterpuncher, too.
Yeah.
So I think the fight's very interesting. A lot of people would pick Brown after seeing this fight because you're only as good as your last fight. And Brown looked great in his last fight. And this fight was kind of an uneventful performance. But I don't know. I still think I may lean towards Gvozdyk ever so slightly against Brown because of the versatility and the different looks. And I just think he's a really calm, cool customer in there. I just like how he just he's a real methodical type fighter. He takes whatever's there. He doesn't force when he doesn't have to force. Whereas Brown sometimes takes chances. He likes to get a little aggressive. So there's opportunities there. So that's why I kind of slightly favor Gvozdyk. But it would be one hell of a fight, no question about it.
How many? And did they announce attendance there at all, or
no? I didn't hear a number. And
well, what does it hold though? What's the max? So
about 2,000.
So
yeah, and
so
I
that's
was
what I'm
wondering
saying.
if it was sold out. I was wondering if it was even sold out.
My question is this: how do you go from fighting in Montreal with a 17,000 seat? I think it was 17,000 people. Was it Montreal or was it Quebec? Where was it?
They fought in Quebec.
Quebec. Thank you, Robbie. So you go from fighting in Quebec and then like 17,000 people to fighting, in Philadelphia in front of 2,000 people. With all due respect to people who live in Philadelphia, so there's got to be some type of letdown from that, no?
There has to.
Oh
be,
yeah.
Right? I mean, listen, and they put. I know Sonny Kanto, he was on the undercard, and I believe he won, I think, with a first-round knockout, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know for a fact, but I think that I do know he was on the undercard, and he's from Philadelphia. He's a heavyweight. The whole thing is just baffling to me. I mean, this is really, of all the fights that have kind of taken place this year, putting this fight in Philadelphia made no sense. Putting this fight in 2300 Arena made no sense. I don't understand. I don't understand. And in Top Rank, again, man, they promote a lot more fights than I do. So, hey, I'm on the back, I'm on the outside looking in. I get that. I'm just like, I don't get it. I just don't get it. Why in the world this was taking place there. Robert, what were your thoughts on this fight?
Well, I've got several here. Number one, Beeb, I know it's kind of hard to tell, and Eric, I know you didn't see this, But do you think we saw any psychological effects from Gvozdyk, considering how Adonis Stevenson has wound up?
That's a great point.
The reason why I say that is because it sort of reminded me of how tentative Boom Boom Mancini was after what happened with him. You know, he totally changed the way he fought. Are we going to have the same issue with Gvozdyk?
Robbie, that's an outstanding point, and for some reason that slipped my mind when I was doing this breakdown of the fight. But that could be a factor here, without question. That could be a factor. It was mentioned during the broadcast as well, and maybe it'll take a couple fights, because Boom Boom kind of, after a couple fights, it took him, I think, maybe 3 or 4 fights. Then he started getting back into the swing of things. If you remember, Robbie, am I correct in that?
That is correct, but Ray has admitted several times that he totally changed the way he fought and never fought exactly the same way after that.
Okay.
Yeah, I always thought that Mancini was never the same after that fight. Mancini was never the same after that fight.
And he freely admits that. Now, taking that into consideration, I think Gvozdyk has shown a major weakness here. If you put him in there against somebody that can move, that can box, I don't think that he can deal with that very well, because the only reason why this fight was interesting at all is because Ngumbu was constantly moving and being as awkward as he was, and I think Gvozdyk had a major issue with that. And what surprised me is Teddy Atlas, your boy Eric, did not know how to tell him how to adjust to that, because I didn't notice any adjustments at all in the 5 rounds that they fought. So I'm wondering if he's going to have difficulty with somebody who can move in the future.
Well, listen, before we point the dirty end of the stick at Teddy Atlas, let's just remember that, hey, he may have given him instructions that he didn't follow. I find it hard to believe that my guy, Teddy Atlas, wouldn't give solid instruction in the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beeb, any thoughts on that?
Well, Teddy Atlas is kind of, if you notice, every time a fighter went with Teddy Atlas, like Tim Bradley, actually when he fought Manny Pacquiao when he was with Teddy Atlas, he fought a more defensive-minded fight. He was less aggressive. Michael Moore wasn't always aggressive when he was fighting under Teddy Atlas. He kind of changed his style a little bit. And even Alexander Povetkin became a little bit more defensive and less offensive. So Teddy Atlas is a defensive-minded trainer. I think we can agree on that. He's not a guy he's not like Emmanuel Stewart that sends guys out to seek and destroy.
Right.
That's just not how he's built. So Teddy Atlas could have been happy with this, because Gvozdyk was winning the rounds. He was winning the rounds. Whether or not he won them in the fashion that we wanted him to win them in, or an entertaining fashion, that's a different story. But Teddy Atlas, this is the type of trainer he is. He's a guy that just likes to let the fight unfold, and he doesn't like his fighters to step on the gas, really.
Well, I'm just wondering in the future if you put Gvozdyk in, say against like a Marcus Brown, like you suggested. We know how well Marcus Brown can move.
Yeah.
Because he proved that in the body jack fight.
Correct.
Is he going to have issues with something like that in the future? Because it sure looked like that way to me. Now this may have been a completely different kind of fight, because I don't know if this guy was a mandatory, whether this was, I don't know how this guy got a title shot, to be honest with you, but I'm wondering. I've got more questions about Gvozdyk now than I had when he beat Adonis Stevenson. His mental makeup, his psychological makeup after what happened. There's a lot of unanswered questions, and I think we need to see Gvozdyk in against a better name so we can see what reactions he's got left, because this fight raised more questions than anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would go along with that, man. I fully expected Gvozdyk to just run right through this guy, and it doesn't sound like that's what happened. But that being said, Marcus Brown to me is kind of the cream of the crop in that division. I don't see anybody beating him. I really don't.
Yeah, you like Marcus Brown. A lot of
people think Bivol is the guy and this and that. I think Marcus Brown is the guy, man. I think until they beat Marcus Brown, I think he's the best one out. I really do.
Well, I've always liked Gvozdyk, but now we have several questions because of what happened in the Adonis Stevenson fight. We need to see how he's going to react to this, and I don't think last Saturday was a good gauge of that, because it didn't go long enough. And I really wonder where he's at now.
Yeah, Kobir in the chat just said, like Robbie said, Gvozdyk needs to fight better opponents. So, hey, thank you guys all for coming out tonight. Kobir, Cali King, LDTB. Let's see, Unrivaled Boxing Talk and News. Is there a Skype link? Yes, it's coming. It's not here yet, but it's coming very, very soon.
No, it is.
Every week we have to get that going.
You've been saying that for about a month now. I think they want a timetable, Eric.
Is that right? Well, maybe you can give them one. How about that? All right.
Yeah.
Over here disrespecting Teddy Atlas, and then you're getting on my case.
Robbie,
What?
write this down.
Okay.
Never take shots at your own show.
That's right.
No
friendly fire here. No friendly fire here. Don't shoot Eric in the back here.
Yeah.
Hey, Beeb, Beeb, I'm just having fun with him. He's the computer guy, so he'll let everybody know when it's ready.
Ohio Runs Boxing, OH, in the chat.
OH is back. Now they're all going to start scurrying in when they see OH.
All right.
Where's Coach C? Eric's nemesis. Eric starts sweating. Whenever he sees Coach C in the chat, you can see the sweat dripping down his side of his face.
And Coach is going to call in today, and he's going to have an awesome phone call like he always does.
I don't think he has awesome phone calls. I think they're about
Yes, he does.
He doesn't have awesome phone calls. He has phenomenal phone calls.
That's right.
I think they're about average to below par.
Come on, Eric.
Dwayne M, salute. Tony, salute. Cali King, salute. Ohio Runs Boxing, of course, salute. Unrivaled Boxing Talk, salute. Kobir, salute. Let's see what else here. Pie Bet, Coach C versus Eric. Yeah, absolutely. I'll put the title on the line for the belt. Yeah, absolutely. We'll put it on the line. All right. So across the pond, we had Cash Ali versus David Price, and that brings us to our train wreck of the week. Elena, on assignment today, could not be here. Beeb, you will have to fill in for the train wreck of the week.
Chugga, 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 chugga. Choo-choo! That was... Wow! Wow!
God help us.
I hit the high note perfectly today.
Jesus.
I think we lost Eric.
Can we even go? I don't even know where to go from that. Every time Beeb does the train wreck of the week, it just makes me want to kill puppies. It's that bad.
Peter's watching. Peter.
Peter.
Now, Peter may not be happy with that statement, Eric.
I think Peter would. I think Peter would agree with the statement. I think Peter would 100% agree with that statement if they listened to Beeb's. I don't even want to call it the train. That in itself is a train wreck of the week. It was just awful.
Yep. And the train wreck of the week was disgusting too. But
I don't know which is worse. I got to be honest.
Beeb's train wreck is a train wreck. I like that.
All right.
Fire Beeb.
Oh, pure fire Beeb. Unrivaled's my man. He likes it.
I don't think he likes it.
All right, go ahead, Eric.
All right, so the train wreck of the week this week, I think I've recovered. Now. Train wreck of the week. So Cash Ali versus David Price. Cash Ali undefeated coming into this fight. In the 5th round, and it was pretty one-sided from what I understand. In the 5th round, Price hits Ali with a big shot. Ali grabs him. They both fall to the ground. We've seen this a million times. It happens. At that point, you look down and you see Price just kind of wince. And Ali immediately gets up. The ref quickly calls a halt to the fight. So what happened? Well, this is what happened. When the two went to the ground, Cash Ali bit David Price around the rib cage. You could see the mark as plain as day. It's like a big round mark right on his rib cage. Oh my God. Cash Ali was disqualified right away, has been suspended by the British Boxing Board of Control. A few days after the incident, Ali has publicly apologized. The worst part about this is, man, these two know each other. They used to be sparring partners and everything.
Yeah, but they're not friends anymore. They're not friends anymore.
Absolutely not.
I wouldn't say they're friends anymore.
No, but the build-up was horrible. They were at each other's necks at the build-up.
What an awful, I mean, really, like, wow, how unsportsmanlike can you be, man?
I didn't think anybody would want to relive Mike Tyson, but when I heard about this, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
Jeez, man.
This was right up there.
Bad bite, too. I mean, you could see the marks.
Yeah.
Hey, make sure you eat before the fight. Hello? Come on.
I think he was, clearly he was frustrated, and he said as much. He said that I think he's something to the effect. I read that something to the effect that he was looking to get out of the fight. You know what I mean? And I think he was just really frustrated. And I think that, he just kind of lost control. And Tony's right. He said low life behavior. You're 100% right. It was.
Absolutely.
I mean, it reminded me, what was the fight, Robert, that we saw just a little while ago where the guy kept hitting him low? And he knew he was going to get disqualified, and he kept doing it anyway, and he got disqualified.
Oh, I remember it was the opening. It was the pre-fight before the pay-per-view. I forget the guy's name.
Yeah, I do too.
But,
it's not important.
Yeah.
But the guy was, I think that was another undefeated fighter or something like that. And, he was just getting manhandled in there. And, it's a way of buying out without actually, buying out. They disqualified me. There's nothing I can do. Those refs, they had the problem, not me. But it was pretty awful, man, pretty awful. If you get the chance, go watch it or whatever on YouTube, and you could see the bite mark clear as day. It's just like, what are you doing, man? Kelly King biting out instead of buying out, biting out. That's right. So just an awful display, man. Beeb, what were your thoughts when you saw this, man?
I was in shock. It was actually a pretty good fight on David Price's part. This was the best I've ever seen David Price look. And, Cash Ali, I didn't know a ton about him, I'll admit that. But going into this fight, people were telling me that this could be a competitive fight. Cash could possibly win. A lot of people were calling for David Price's retirement, after being knocked out on several occasions. But David Price pulled it together. He showed some fire. He was invigorated David Price in this fight. He fought very well. He looked good. His jab, he was lining them up perfectly with the jab, and he had a sharp right hand. He was landing that sharp right hand at will, and he was walking them back to the ropes, going to the body, shooting uppercuts through the guard up the middle. He won every round. Then in the fifth round, Cash had his moments. He landed a big right hand, followed up with a hook. Pushed Price back a little bit, but Price came right back with two body shots, and you could see, the body language in the face of Ali. You could tell he was very disturbed and distraught with that. He was hurt, and then Price came back and landed another big right hand, and he was trying to grab and hold on for dear life, and as he grabbed and held on for dear life, he tackled Price to the ground, and he said, "You know what? I did everything I could. I opened up this round good. I hurt David Price. And normally when you hurt David Price, he pretty much withers away. But not in this fight. I mean, I'm telling you. I mean, I know this wasn't an Alexander Povetkin. This wasn't an upper echelon heavyweight, so to speak, with all due respect to Cash Ali. But again, people were saying that David Price was done, that Cash Ali could possibly win the fight. He was the young and up and coming upstart here.
For sure.
So this was on paper. This was a pretty much even fight, or even slightly people were favoring Ali here. So this was a do or die fight for David Price, and again he fought beautifully. He rose to the occasion. He showed everything here. He looked like he was fading a bit in the fifth. But he grit down on his mouthpiece. He dug down deep, and he came back. And this was a great performance from him. So I don't want that bite to take anything away from David Price's performance. It was an outstanding performance from him. I was very impressed with how David Price, even physically, he looked the best physically I've ever seen him. He was lean. He just looked in great shape. This was just I can't say enough about how impressed I was with David Price on Saturday.
This was very much, as you said, a do-or-die fight for Price. I think this was it. If he loses this fight, that's it. I mean, what has he got? 6, 7 losses already? I think he's got 6 losses or something like that, if I'm correct. This was very much a do-or-die fight for him, and I think he knew it. And I don't think he was ready to go. I mean, clearly he wasn't ready to go yet, man. And that's a dangerous guy, especially when he knows it's all on the line. It's him or me. And, 6 losses. And you could talk about, like, Cash Ali, not fighting anybody. I think Kabir just said he hasn't fought anybody in the top 50, top 100, blah, blah, blah. But he was still undefeated. He's still undefeated. He had to be the favorite going in there. They put him in against David Price because they thought David Price is just done. And good for David Price, man. He pulled it out. And with or without the bite, he's going to pull out that win. And he broke him. I mean, he really broke Cash Ali. He broke him.
Well, here, that's an excellent point. You're 100% correct there. But people are saying that David Price was fading. But so was, like, Cash Ali was fading even worse. And David Price did get a second win in that 5th round, folks. Because he came back and hurt Ali. And he started coming on. And that's why, Cash did what he did. So, I don't know.
Yeah, it was.
I don't want to.
I like seeing that, though. Don't you? I mean, I like seeing that from a guy.
Of course, of course.
He brings that fire. He's not ready to go out just yet. Everybody's counting him out, and the only person not counting him out is him.
And not that this matters, at all. But the funny thing about this whole thing was the build-up, because David Price was talking a lot of trash too, because Cash Ali started with the trash talking, but David Price came back with some good stuff, man. He was fiery. He was uncharacteristically fiery and very outspoken in the build-up to this fight. And I like this version of David Price. I'm not going to lie. I mean, this was, I liked his swag before the fight, and I liked how he conducted himself during the fight. This was outstanding.
Absolutely. Tony just said Pricey is must watch TV, like car crash TV, and that's the kind of guys you like, man. You guys want to see that, man, for sure. Reese Mack said the announcers were saying that he may never fight in England again, and that's 100% true. He's got to go in front of the British Board of Boxing, and explain this to him. And I think he's going to be. And my feeling is that he's going to be completely 100% honest. I mean, I think he will be. I think he'll be 100% honest. And let them know that he bought out of that fight, that he did this on purpose. He wanted to find a way out. He was frustrated. And I think he and his trainers have got to sit down, or him and his family have to sit down and say, look, man, this is kind of unacceptable. Either you want to fight or you don't want to fight. But, and if I'm his trainer or his manager, Beeb, what do you? I mean, if I'm his trainer or his manager, I say, hey, look, man, I think that you may want to rethink this career thing. You know what I mean? Because this is not the kind of thing that you do. You're gonna have fights in your, that you're gonna be outboxed and everything like that, and all this stuff is gonna come into play. The frustration and stuff that you showed in this fight, that's a character thing. And I don't know that, like, that's, can you really come back from that? That I don't know. I don't know. But that's something that they've got to talk about. That's something he's got to look within himself and his manager and his team and everything. That's a tough thing.
Yeah.
I mean, how would you advise him going forward?
No one believes in second chances more than the Beeb. I'm the king of second chances. But with that being said, if I'm the trainer, I may walk away from the kid after something like that. Yeah.
I don't want to be associated with that.
That's embarrassing. They say you are who you hang around with, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to be around someone like that.
Well,
I'm sorry.
And you're right, and that's the thing.
Man. I mean, If me and Robbie go to a club and something goes down and I see him biting people, I may have to disown him. I'm sorry, Robbie.
No, but I agree with you, Beeb. I think people around him are going to have to really take a good look at this, and maybe boxing is not the career for him. But on the other side of things, since everybody tried to write David Price off, and he looked so good during this fight, what's next for him since everybody tried to throw him out of the business?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think that, listen, I mean, Price is who he is. I don't see him getting a title shot or anything like that out of this whole deal. But maybe he gets a big fight in England, like maybe another like upper echelon, not an upper echelon type fight, but maybe he gets a ranked guy. I don't know. I mean, people like Price. I mean, he's a popular guy, and but as far as like where he goes from here, I mean, I think he fights again. He fights on and does his thing, makes a little bit more money, and who knows where it goes. I mean, maybe he puts a win streak together, maybe he puts a couple of wins together, and then gets back on the map. I don't know where he goes, but for sure he's got a couple more fights left in him, at least one more. So, do you think?
Well, he's basically got a second lease on boxing life. So let's see what he does with it.
For sure. Do you think if Price lost his fight, that was it for him?
Because that's what I kept hearing. If he lost, he was done. So.
He was asking me, Robert. He would have been done. He would have been done.
Yeah,
but,
I think so.
Eric, let me throw this at you real quick. And I want to see what you say. Joe Joyce versus David Price. Great. That's a good matchup, no?
That's a very good matchup.
Who wins?
Joe Joyce.
He's raw, right?
You know how I feel about Joe Joyce.
Yeah, I'm not crazy.
I don't.
Yeah, no. Crazy about Joe Joyce.
That would be a good matchup, and we would find out what Joe Joyce was made of, because frankly, none of us think that he's made of very much.
Yeah, I don't think a whole lot of Joe Joyce. I'll be honest, and you guys know my feelings on Joe Joyce.
I'm picking David Price in that one.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I think that's a good fight. I think that's
I'm picking David Price in that one. I'm back on the Price train.
I think after what we saw with Joe Joyce, I would have to agree with that, Beeb.
I'm back on the Price train.
Oh no, man! I don't know. I might have to stick with Joe Joyce on that one. But we'll see. We'll see.
What?
Listen, I'm not a big. Listen, man. I'm not a big Joe Joyce fan.
What?
But if they make that fight, they're not going to put him in harm's way. That's what I'm saying.
Please.
So if they make that fight, they definitely saw something.
That's right. The
fight should be called retirement fight. Put money on that, Beeb.
I would agree with that.
Please.
Oh my God! And then was the Liam Smith Eggington on the undercard of that Cash Ali, or on the same card?
Liam Smith?
Yeah.
That was the main event of that card, actually.
The main event. Okay, Liam Smith versus Sam Eggington. Smith won in 5 rounds. Mario G in the chat. Yes, we have seen the Shakur Stevenson. We're going to talk about that too. That's insane. Yeah, Beeb, talk about that Liam Smith fight real quick. Just touch on it here.
Going into this fight, I thought this was a 50-50 fight.
Yes.
And it was anything but that. Now, Liam Smith, the one thing about Liam Smith that he's, when he steps up to that championship level, so he falls short, right? But when you put him that one notch below, he's a beast. I mean, he fought a great fight. He had his jab working beautifully, and he had a nice sharp right hand, accurate right down the pike. But he was actually walking Eggington backward, like he was hurting Eggington with every shot he landed. So he had the quicker hands. He was the more fluid combination puncher. And he was just backing Eggington to the ropes. And he was a sitting duck, basically. I mean, Liam Smith, whenever you allow him to set up shop in that mid-range to up-close area and where he can just plant his feet and run those combinations on you, he'll pick you apart. Now, a guy that can keep him on the outside, a guy that can hit him with something to stop him in his tracks, a guy that can take some of that wind out of his sails, can do damage to Liam Smith. But if you can't stop him from moving forward, if you can't stop that forward momentum, and you allow him to keep coming forward and get into his comfort zone, he's just going to run them fluid combinations on you. He'll go to the body, bring the hook back upstairs, and he's got a real sneaky dart of a right hand. And he just picked Eggington apart all night. Eggington fought very, very valiantly. He did his best in there, but his face got busted up early. Those right hands to the side of the head were landing flush, and you could see the eye puffing up as early as the second and third round. So you knew right then and there that Eggington was in for a long night. So Liam Smith, hats off to him. I mean, he did the business. He did the business on that Saturday night, and it was a great performance from him. Now, I still take my hat off to Sam Eggington because he fought hard. He didn't wither away in this fight. He kept throwing punches back. He was landing a couple good shots himself, a good right hand every now and then, but he just could not put enough together to really stop Liam Smith in his tracks. I mean, Liam Smith could take Eggington's punch very well, which was surprising to me because I thought Eggington, being the big guy, 5'11" in there, I don't know how this guy ever made 147 because he looked pretty lean at 154 in the ring that night. So he must have had to basically starve himself for 3 days leading to try to make welterweight. But with that being said, I did not expect Liam Smith to be that much stronger than Eggington, and I was surprised at that.
I was surprised that this fight was so one-sided. I did not expect this. I expected like you said, it was a 50-50 fight. At least I thought so. And
I thought so, yeah.
So that shocks me. I mean, that it was that one-sided.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and listen, man, I know Liam Smith is a good fighter. I mean, but he hasn't. It's like you said, when he goes to that upper echelon, he's just not there. And I don't get it. But. And I don't know. Let me ask you a question about that because he's a solid fighter, right?
He's very solid.
He's very solid. Yeah.
Very, very solid.
And
but he doesn't like to fight backing up, Eric. And when a guy is pushing him back, he likes to come forward, set his feet, and run them combinations. He can't fight very well off the back foot. And guys who, like a guy like Munguia, a guy like Canelo, bigger, stronger than him. And Canelo Alvarez is probably much faster than him too.
Oh yeah.
So when you take all that into account, you know, if you hurt him and stop him from coming forward, his offense is done. Basically, that's it.
So that's a scouting report on him, right? I mean,
yeah. I mean, well, I mean, he's most effective when he's the bully. Yeah. When he can't be the bully, he's not really going to outslick anybody, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's a grinder type, so he's not going to outslick anybody. That's with all due respect to him. I mean, he's a really good fluid combination puncher and an accurate puncher, but he has to be comfortable. He has to be allowed to run them combinations. If you're constantly disrupting him and pushing him back, he's gonna have a hard time getting set and fighting you off the back foot. He's just not that type of fighter.
Yeah, and Sam Eggington, Eggington's a solid fighter, but to me, he'll never be. He's not championship level.
Well, let's just say this: there comes a time every now and then in a fighter's career where that one fight just will be the fight that will change them. This could be the fight that changes Sam Eggington. He may not be able to come back from this. Maybe I'm being a little hot. Yeah, this was kind of a brutal beating.
Wow.
And like I say, sometimes it's better to get, like when Peterson got knocked out by Matisse.
Yeah.
That he got knocked out early and with one or two, like one really good shot, and he put him out. Now, when you get that type of beating that Errol Spence put on him, where it's a sustained beating over the course of 7 or 8 rounds, those are the fights that take years off of a guy's career.
Yeah.
And they change him. And that was probably the turning point for Peterson, that Errol Spence fight. Because after that fight, that's when he started saying, well, things were different for me in camp. I was starting to get hit with stuff that I normally wasn't getting hit with before, and I wasn't reacting the same way when I was getting hit. This could be one of those fights for Sam Eggington where this could weigh on him psychologically too.
Yeah, and that's tough to recognize. I mean, it takes a lot for a fighter to recognize that. The guys around him have to recognize that.
Yeah.
But
so if I'm Eggington's, if I'm in Eggington's corner, if I'm part of Eggington's management team or inner circle, I'm matching him soft for at least the next 3 fights.
Oh, for sure.
You gotta build his confidence back up, because this was a very tough fight for him, mentally and physically.
Yeah, and I mean, both of these guys, I like both of these guys a lot. You know,
I like Eggington,
I like both of these guys a lot, man. I think they're both really, really solid top fighters. But as far as them getting to that next level, I just don't know. I mean, Liam Smith, if you put it on paper and we're looking at it, you know, obviously I think Sam Eggington is kind of, to me, he's kind of reached the ceiling. And it's not a bad ceiling, it's just his ceiling. I don't think he's going to get any, as far as beating any upper echelon guys, I don't think that's in his cards. Liam Smith has had a couple of shots at the big time, though. Yeah. And, we saw it in the Canelo fight. I think that was the fight, I think, that surprised both of us, honestly. Because I expected so much more out of Liam Smith than we got in that fight. And that's not taking nothing away from Canelo. Canelo fought a great fight. He did what he did. But I expected a lot more out of Liam in that fight. But
going in, we thought that he could give Canelo a little bit of problems early on. I think we both said. I think we both said that.
Yeah, and I mean, as it got closer to fight time, I'm thinking, man, he's got a real shot here, And he went in there and just laid a giant egg. And how much of that was due to Canelo? How much of that was due to the, listen? I think it was a bad style matchup.
Yeah.
I mean, but you're talking about Canelo too. Canelo is not an ordinary fighter anymore. This guy is, with him beating Triple G, he took a draw the first fight, beat him in the second fight. That's a big deal. I mean, you're talking about a guy who's, legit pound for pound right now.
Yeah. Well, and in the Munguia fight, he fought great. I mean, he looked great there in the early rounds. Did. But here's the X factor. He wasn't hurting Munguia. Munguia was eating those punches like candy. And like I said, he was coming forward and hitting Munguia, but he wasn't pushing Munguia back. He couldn't stop Munguia from coming forward himself. So again, Munguia out-bullied the bully, When I say he's a bully, I'm not saying he's a bully mentality-wise. He's just a bully. He's a bully because he imposes his will and walks you back and forces you to kind of retreat, so to speak.
Sure. Let me ask you a question, though. Why, if you're his trainer, and why don't, because he seems to walk back where in the fights against Canelo and the fights against Munguia, he couldn't really press the guy backwards. He's moving backwards. But what I don't see from him is circles. Why doesn't he fight in tighter circles? Versus walking backwards, tighter circles. If you're not going to be able to back the guy up, use your footwork in a way to circle the guy, get him different angles and everything like that. But that doesn't seem to happen. He just seems to walk straight back.
Yeah. He's got to learn how to pivot out. I mean,
yes.
To be a slick fighter, you could still do subtle things. Like you could still pivot out.
Yeah.
You could still take a little sidestep. Just little subtle things you could add. I mean, I'm sure he could be fine-tuned a little bit in those areas. But in terms of him being a guy that's going to be a defensive specialist, I don't know if that's ever going to be the case with him. Both of these guys, Eggington and Smith, problem with them is they're not great defensive specialists. So, the problem too, though, if you try to work on him in those areas, the problem would be possibly that would take something away from his offense. Like, I don't know if you can recreate this guy at this stage of his career.
Right.
In order for him to be successful, he has to be. He's an offensive guy. He's just a forward momentum guy. So I don't think they work on backing up. But like you said, he doesn't have to back up. He can pivot. He can pivot out. He can slide out.
In circles. Yeah, you can box in circles.
Fight in that tight circle like a protractor. 100% correct.
Right. And that way, it doesn't matter if he backs you up or you back him up. It doesn't matter. And
it's so funny you say that because his brother Callum does do those things. He does pivot. He does walk, step around his opponent. He does use angles and does make those little subtle moves with his feet. But Liam does not.
Yeah, I tell you, like I said, man, I like watching these guys, and I wish, is it too late for him to learn that though? Now, obviously it can be. He probably knows it. Is it too late to incorporate that?
I don't think necessarily it's too late, but the problem is when he's dealing with the guy who's bigger and stronger than him, they're going to eventually catch up.
Yeah.
So his, I don't know. He's just not going to outslick anybody, and even with those little nuances added to his game. Will that be enough to hold off a Jaime Munguia from coming forward and trying to take his head off? That's the big question.
That's a very good question. Because listen, Liam Smith can hit, but guys like Munguia, Canelo, they can take those shots, and you're not. Can you take what's coming back? I don't know. In both of those fights, the answer was no. So there you go. Dwayne M., we did not talk about the Pulev issue yet. We are going to talk about it. Lots of stuff in the bag today. But first, before we get to anything, let's go over the upcoming fights tomorrow, which is April 5th, Friday, on ESPN Plus. This is from the Abu Dhabi, the United Arab Emirates. Aliyo Bamidele Lassisi versus Ricardo Blandon, 12 rounds junior bantamweights. Mahid Al-Nagbi versus Vladimir Leitsky. Who's putting this on?
I don't know, but
whose card is this?
These are fighters I've never heard of.
This can't be Top Rank. This has got to be what, MTK or something
like
that?
It has to be something like that. I don't know.
What is this nonsense? I'm not watching it. What is this? What am I supposed to like? This is what I'm paying $5 a month for.
Yeah, it's an MTK global fight. Yeah.
Yeah, you think? Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah. I'll tell you. I'll tell you what.
But what's better? The Showtime card on the same night, the Showbox card?
Well,
I don't even know who's on that one, Eric.
People can talk shit about the Zone all they want, but they're killing ESPN Plus. I'll tell you that right now.
They're taking a dump all over ESPN Plus right now. I'll tell you that right now. April 5th on Showbox, Angelo Leo versus Neil Tabano, 10 rounds, junior featherweights. Has anybody heard of these guys? Does anybody know who these guys are?
No.
What's the Showbox card?
Unfortunately, I have not heard about it.
No.
Xavier Martinez versus John Moralde, 10 rounds junior lightweights. Andres Cortez versus Jamal Dyer, 8 rounds junior. What is this? Come on.
No, that's why I said when you were asking me about before we went on the air, do I still like Showbox? Yes, I do, but I'm starting to have a problem with them because our last few cards have left a lot to be desired. It doesn't live up to the quality what Showbox has been in the past.
It's because all their fighters are on Fox now. What in the world? All right, here we go. All right, so in this, of all the things, now listen, on April 6th, which is Sunday, correct?
Saturday,
I'm sorry. The fights that should be televised, I don't see a televised, or a station for them. From Hermosillo, Mexico, on April 6th, Saturday, Ramon Alvarez versus Jose Carlos Paz, 10 rounds, junior middleweights, and Pedro Campa versus Abner Lopez, 10 rounds, junior welterweights. My dad and I were just talking about Canelo's brother, Ramon Alvarez, and how we love watching that guy fight because whether he wins or he loses, you got to fight. You got to fight on your hands. He always comes to fight. He's always prepared. He's always ready to go. In this fight, of course, not anywhere to be found on TV. This baffles me too. From Clackamas, Oregon, on Saturday, April 6th, no TV, shouldn't be televised. Steve Forbes, Steve Forbes, versus Tavares Teague, 7 rounds. 7 rounds. Junior
Wait a minute.
Steve Forbes is still fighting?
Are we talking about the same Steve Forbes that fought Oscar De La Hoya?
Maybe. I don't know. It just says Steve Forbes, Tavares Teague. That's what caught my attention in Oregon. I don't know.
Well, that doesn't make a hell of a...
Beeb, do me a favor. Box wreck that real quick and see if that's...
That doesn't make a hell of a lot of sense. How old would the guy be?
Like 92. I don't know.
Jesus Christ. It can't be the same guy.
Yeah. April 10th. UFC Fight Pass. And that, what is that, Tuesday?
That's Wednesday.
Wednesday. All right, we'll go over that Sunday then. We'll go over that one Sunday.
All right.
Steve Forbes fought on April 6th against a guy named Tavares Teague. No, I'm sorry.
He's going
to fight. I'm sorry. It says scheduled. I apologize. I'm so sorry. Yeah, that's Steve Forbes.
Wow, 2 pounds.
Oh my God! How old is he, Beeb?
Do you want to know? Hold on, Robbie. Let me just say one thing here. Guess what Tavares Teague's record is?
7, 110, and 3.
6. Oh, close. 6, 25, and 4.
Oh my! God.
Steve Forbes was born in 1977.
So he's 42.
He's 42 years old. A 7-round fight. I've never heard of a 7-round fight.
That is beyond ridiculous.
Right.
And here's the kicker. When do you think Steve Forbes' last fight was?
72? I don't know.
He hasn't fought since 2014. He lost to Antonio Orozco on October 10th of 2014.
So 5 years ago. Wow.
And here's this. Steve Forbes has lost his last 6 fights. Oh my God. Wow. Look at this. Steve Forbes has 6. Oh my God. He's only had after that, he's in his last 10 fights, he's got 2 wins. He's 2-8 in his last 10 fights.
Excuse me for saying this, but how in the fuck can you give somebody like that a license?
How is he licensed? But here's a fun fact here. Steve Forbes has only been knocked out 1 time in his career.
Oscar De La Hoya, right?
He's never been stopped.
Business with De La Hoya.
Oh, that's right.
He's never been stopped.
How in the world can you...
Steve Forbes wasn't a contender show, yeah.
He's only stopped 1 time.
How in the world can you give a guy like that a license? This reminds me of the Evander Holyfield, New York State Athletic Commission thing, where they finally had to say, "We're not giving you a license." Period.
Guess who stopped him? Kareem Mayfield.
Oh my God! Really?
Yep.
Oh, good Lord! Wow. All right, let's go to the phones here. Let's go to area code 901. I believe this is Memphis.
Tennessee, yep.
901, you're live.
Yo, what's going on? I just want to let you brothers know that can y'all hear me?
Yes,
yeah.
How are you, man?
Yes, we hear you, brother.
Hello?
We hear you. Yeah,
okay.
We hear you.
I was going to say, okay, I'm a true fan of this show. I just want to give a shout-out to Beeb for all the hard work and dedication throughout the years. I actually did my research on you, brother, and I see you was working with the boxing voice, and I see you guys have fell out. I just want to be a peacemaker in the situation. Hopefully, one day you and Ness, y'all can squash it. Because y'all had some good times and bad times. I don't know how deep it is, but I don't know.
It's not deep. It's not deep, man. There's no ill will, man. It's just
but he's not going back there.
I just can't do business with him. But there's no hate. There's no hate, man.
No, Beeb's got a better home here, brother.
Good. I just want to stay positive,
Yeah. Beeb's got a better home here.
If I saw him in the street, I'd give him a handshake.
Absolutely, man.
There's no hate. There's no hate.
That's good. I just want to bring some positive energy, you know. Like, nowadays, everybody's into beef. Everybody wants to instigate. I just want to just be like a peacemaker in the situation, brother.
We good.
That's all.
Good.
And I'm a huge fan of this show. I'm a huge fan of this show. I watch this show every day. Every time you guys go live, I'll be waiting for it. You know what I mean? I'm always happy to call in because, like, one thing about this station right here, this channel, you guys are going to keep it real. You guys are not just pro PBC or just ESPN. You guys actually keep it real. You guys aren't biased, and that's what I love about this show. You guys
Thank
really
you very
love
much.
action, you know what I mean? And that's why I always call in. That's why I always call in, and I'm going to continue to call in. I just want to talk about a few things. Did you guys see that Shakur Stevenson, that street brawl?
Oh, my God.
We did, and we're going to talk about that, man. That was unreal. I mean,
That's horrible.
That was sick.
Yeah, I didn't really like that, man. He probably really hurt himself. I think he hurt himself, man. He was actually, man, he was beating the hell out that guy, man. He could be charged for that. And it was a woman involved in the fight as well. It looked like Shakur Stevenson. I don't know if Shakur hit the woman.
No.
I don't know if he hit the woman or not, but his friend that was with him hit that girl.
David Grayton, David Grayton is a boxer. He was with him, and he was the one that hit that girl.
Yeah, they both should be charged. They both should be charged.
Yeah, that wasn't cool at all, man. This guy's a professional boxer. He's a professional boxer, and he's out here getting in street fights like a thug, you know? These people need to be thankful for being in the position that they are. So hopefully they can make an example of Shakur Stevenson so no other boxers that trying to do something like that. I wasn't cool with that, man. He was giving this guy uppercuts, man. That guy was out on his knees, face first on the concrete, man. Yeah, I hope Shakur Stevenson is charged for that. That wasn't cool, man. You know, that guy I'm pretty sure it had something to do with his girlfriend, because I'm pretty sure that was the guy's girlfriend. And I'm thinking Shakur Stevenson or his buddy said something to the guy's girlfriend, and that started the fight. I'm pretty sure they tried to flirt with his girlfriend, and he wasn't going for it, and that started the fight. So, I mean, the truth is going to come out. The truth is going to come out, you know? So, I mean, besides that, I just want to talk about, what do you guys think about Ryan Garcia's performance this past Saturday? It looked like it was a sold-out show. I mean, Canelo Alvarez was there. Oscar De La Hoya was there. Miguel Cotto was in the crowd. Bernard Hopkins was there. All the legends were there to support this kid. What do you guys think about it?
It was a good look for him, man. I mean, he did what he was supposed to do
against the guy. I mean, that guy wasn't dangerous. I mean, that guy wasn't
a
dangerous guy.
He destroyed him in 2 rounds, man.
Yeah. So they're building him good. I mean, they're building him up.
They know what they're doing. They know what they're doing with that kid.
Yeah, so
they're not going to put him in there with what's his face anytime soon. Gervonta Davis. Yeah, they're not putting him in there with him anytime soon.
No.
But he's got a fan-friendly style. No, they won't. They won't.
No.
They won't.
That fight ain't happening.
What about Gervonta Davis? What do you guys think about
Go ahead.
Think about the level of competition Gervonta Davis has been facing. What do you guys think about that? I mean, Gervonta Davis, the last guy he fought was a bum. He's like, Gervonta's been fighting nothing but bums.
I mean, like I said before, his resume is not outstanding, but he's got some solid wins. He's got Cuellar on there. He's got the Pedraza is a good win. He's got some decent wins, but he doesn't have any like top level guys like Lomachenko. Obviously, I think he's got a better resume. He's got he's got Walters on there. He's got Rigondeaux on there. He's got Russell on there. So he's beaten some solid guys. But Davis has beaten decent guys, but he hasn't beaten a real top level upper echelon guy yet. No.
Petrosian? The best guy he fought was Petrosian. Would you say that? Gervonta Davis?
Yeah, Petrosian. Yeah, Petrosian.
The best one.
Well, I'm just going to go out and just say it, what I feel in my heart. I'm thinking Gervonta Davis is the second coming of Adrian Broner. That's what I think. I mean, if we think about it, Adrian Broner, I'm saying they came out the same camp. He's actually Adrian Broner's best friend. Adrian Broner introduced Gervonta Davis to Floyd Mayweather, helped them get on the money team. I mean, they kind of remind me of each other. Gervonta Davis misses weight. He gets stripped for a title. The same thing with Adrian Broner, stripped for a title. I don't think he's dedicated. I also see Gervonta Davis out hanging in clubs all the time, drinking alcohol, getting drunk. I mean, he actually looks real like fat between fights. When he's not fighting, he puts on a lot of weight. I just want to question the dedication of that kid. Yeah. I want to question the dedication of Gervonta Davis. Is he a real dedicated fighter?
There's a lot of similarities, man. There really is.
The X factor with the X factor. Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say like Adrian Broner. They say he's a 4-time champion in 4 different weight classes. And who's the best fighter Adrian Broner has beat? Paulie Malignaggi, old Paulie Malignaggi. And some people said Malignaggi really won that fight. They said Malignaggi outboxed him. I mean, the resume on Adrian Broner, who has he beat to win these titles? He's beaten nobody. Like, I know Gervonta Davis, he beat Petrosian, who's I believe a 2-time champion in 2 different weight classes. But I'm starting to think like these championship belts are starting to be like, it's really, man, it really doesn't mean anything anymore. Like, if somebody wants a title, like, what does it mean?
It's starting to look that way, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's starting to bother me. Like, Gervonta Davis is winning all these belts. I mean, he won 2 titles, but who did he beat? Yeah, I know he beat Petrosian, a decent fighter, but I can't say that Petrosian is an elite fighter. I can't say that. I mean, I believe he just got – didn't Petrosian just get beat by Lomachenko? Didn't he just
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did. Real bad?
Yes, he did.
Yeah, I mean, Gervonta Davis, he could be the most overrated fighter in boxing right now, but I want to hear what you got to say, Beeb.
Well, the one great point you bring up is the outside ring antics from Gervonta Davis, because that could really hurt him as he gets older. Because
that's a big deal, man.
You can only abuse your body for so long, and once you start, he's still in his 20s. If he doesn't change his lifestyle and it carries over into his 30s, then it's going to start taking its toll. So until he gets that under control, the partying, the eating, the drinking, the going to these clubs and stuff, until he gets that under control, there's going to be a question mark hanging over him without question. Now, is he a good fighter? Absolutely. Can he punch? Absolutely. Is he explosive? Yes. And to be honest with you, I give him a good chance against a guy like Lomachenko. I really do. I really do, because I just think that he's just so fast, quick, and explosive, and he's just such a really good puncher, and he sets up his power very well. So I think he's a handful for anybody, but if he continues to party outside of the ring, get in trouble outside of the ring, abuse his body outside of the ring, then his prime years could be very short-lived. So that's what scares me about Gervonta Davis, without question.
Yeah.
Him not making weight, him having fights being postponed because he can't make weight, and things of that nature. So it's not good. It's not a good look for him overall, for stuff like that to be overshadowing his ability and his talent, without question. I think you're 100% spot on with your assessment in that regard.
Yeah, I'm right. And then Floyd Mayweather has been protecting this kid for a long time. I mean, let's just look at this. Let's compare Ryan Garcia to Gervonta. I know Gervonta Davis is 24 years old. Ryan Garcia is 20 years old. Okay? At 20 years old, was Gervonta Davis a world champion? I don't think he was, if I'm not mistaken. I believe he was 20. 21 or 22 when he became champion.
I believe he won his title at 21. I could be wrong, but 21, 22, somewhere around there.
Yeah, 21 or 22, around that age. I mean, if you compare the two, I feel like Oscar De La Hoya has been moving Ryan Garcia at a good pace. I believe the same pace Floyd Mayweather was moving Gervonta Davis at the same pace. And Gervonta Davis has only beat one good fighter in Petrosian. I mean, all those other fighters, who were those guys? I mean, I know you mentioned somebody else, Beeb, but I was looking at the competition.
Cuellar's pretty solid. Cuellar's solid. Jesus Cuellar's a pretty solid fighter, too.
Yeah, I got to go back and look at him. But like a fighter like Lomachenko, bro, we all seen what he did to Gary Russell Jr. Like, I remember everybody was talking about Gary Russell Jr. He's the next Floyd Mayweather. He's this, he's that.
He's solid.
And he demolished him. He beat the crap out of him. He beat the fuck out that guy. I watched the whole fight. I don't think Russell even won a single round, bro. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's just the competition. Once Gervonta steps up that competition and he fights somebody better, I mean, he won't be knocking these guys out. He'll get exposed. He won't be knocking out everybody. And I feel like he's not that good. He's really not that good, bro. So I don't want to just keep talking about this guy Gervonta because he's not that good. I mean, I just want to go to another topic. I mean, what do you guys think about the Zone right now? And what do you think about the shows the Zone has been putting on? How do you think the Zone compares to ESPN Plus?
I don't know if there is a comparison. I mean, we just read off the card that was going to be on ESPN Plus from the UAE, and I couldn't name a single fighter on that card. The Zone, much better production, much better matchups, much better everything. There is no. I mean, ESPN Plus right now, for my money, sucks.
I can't believe I'm paying for ESPN Plus right now. I'll tell you right now, if ESPN Plus was the same price as the Zone, I would cancel it.
100%. 100%.
Well, this brings up a point. This brings up a point, Beeb. This brings up a point, Beeb. Lomachenko is going to be on ESPN Plus next Friday. Why aren't they putting him on ESPN?
Oh, he's going to be on the app?
A guy like that?
Yeah.
He's on the app?
ESPN Plus.
Oh,
he's on the app.
Oh, that's horrible.
You know, and I think they're trying to build up the app, but it's like I think wasn't it Michelle Rosado was saying something about that?
Yeah, she said
they gotta have like certain ones. You know what I'm talking about? They have to have certain fighters, and they're not gonna take just any fights on there. They want big names on there.
Yeah, there's gotta be every now and then everybody's got to fight on ESPN Plus. Like they can't have just like they're gonna have to have some big fights on ESPN Plus.
Okay.
Right. And I'll tell you what, man, I don't mind if those fighters. I don't care if they put big fights on ESPN Plus. It doesn't matter. Put something on there I can watch though.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, put something on there I can watch. Don't just put nonsense on there. You know, which is what they've been doing. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, exactly, man.
And it's like ESPN. I'm sorry, but at ESPN Plus, they put the good fights like with the fights on pay-per-view, like that Terrence Crawford Amir Khan fight. I mean, that's one of their better fights, and it's on pay-per-view. So they still have pay-per-views, and the Zone is putting on Canelo versus Jacobs, $9.99 a month, which is the pay-per-view fight. And some people are only paying $9 a month for this. I mean, if you compare the two, the Zone is 10 times better. 10 times better. For the quality fights you're getting, it's like ESPN Plus is putting on the bum fights on the app and the good fights on pay-per-view. So they're really getting over on the customers. And I'm not a fan of that fight on pay-per-view. Amir Khan versus Terrence Crawford, I feel like that could have been on ESPN Plus. I don't really think anybody's going to watch that fight. How many numbers you think it's going to do on pay-per-view?
I think. Well, number one, I think it's going to do horrible. I think it's going to do horrible numbers on pay-per-view because they haven't been promoting it.
I haven't met anybody that is like, like that fight's on pay-per-view and they're like, I get that. Yeah, I get that. Like the Spence fight that was on pay-per-view. Yeah, I get that. That's a good fight. That's a good fight for pay-per-view. This fight, not so much. Not so much at all. All right, my man, we are going to get running. We're going to move on, okay? And we appreciate your support. We appreciate your call, and thank you so much for calling in, man.
Thank you for the kind words, brother.
Appreciate that.
Absolutely, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys. Keep up the good work. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, sir. We
thank you. Thank you.
All right, brother. Thank you.
Keep up the good work. I can't promise Beeb that we'll keep up the good work.
I'll try.
He said, first thing he came on, he was like, well, what about peace between you and Ness? I'm like, nope. He's staying here. He's staying here. He ain't going anywhere else.
And,
we got Beeb under contract, son.
And remember, I had to talk Eric into letting the Beeb on the show.
Robbie, enough with the third, breaking the fourth wall again, Robbie. Breaking the fourth wall. Don't take shots at the host.
That's right, man. That's right.
Don't give him a time.
Let's go to area code 787. Robbie, this is Puerto Rico, no?
That's Puerto Rico. Yes, it is.
I love how Robbie knows every area code, like, in the world.
Hey,
Puerto
I'm
Rico,
Warren,
787.
man.
You're live.
Hey, guys. It's me.
Yeah, you too. Go ahead.
What's your name?
Hey, I just have one. I've been listening to you guys for like a year. Sorry for my broken English, by the way. But I just wanted to say one thing. Basically, I know that there's a lot of discussion lately about the fights not happening because of this promoter, that promoter, and all that shit. I just hate when the discussion goes into that into that avenue in the sense that it's not going to happen. Or we should all be talking about the fights that we want to see, so that the promoters feel the pressure to make the fights.
I'll go along with that.
I agree with that.
I agree with that, but in a sense, though, we have to talk about it because it is part of the news, and we have to. We as a show have to present a realistic point of view. I mean, let's face it. I mean, do we all want to see Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford? I want to see that fight yesterday. Yeah. But realistically, we have to know, why the fight's not happening because people want to know that.
Well, I don't entirely disagree. I just think that you guys have the position of how do you say this? Influencing others into being more demanding in whether it be in social media or not watching fights or stuff like that. So that's just my take on it.
All right. I can see that. I can see that for sure.
We'll take that.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. I'm going to let you go. I'm actually driving home, so I'm about to go into my parking garage. So.
All right, man. Thank you so much for calling, man. We appreciate you taking time out, man. Look at that from Puerto Rico. Baby.
Puerto Rico!
Home of Felix Trinidad, baby.
Puerto Rico!
Fred Benitez, baby.
Puerto Rico!
Look at that. Felix Verdejo.
Yeah.
From Puerto
Rico.
The
motorcycle king of the world.
How dare you? What's the matter with you?
Please, Robbie.
They're about to lay Bernard Hopkins out over there in Puerto Rico, son. And you know what?
Yeah. I know.
Bernard Hopkins is a vegan now. Did you hear that? He's a vegan.
He's what?
He's a vegan now.
I did hear something about that. Yeah, I did hear something about
that. We're vegan. Yeah, we're vegan.
Ain't no animals.
Yeah.
No more steaks, baby.
I'm gonna be
Pete is very happy.
No more B12. No more B12. No more L-carnitine. No more creatine. Right. Rob, please. No more creatine.
Oh man, a lot of people going vegan now. Did you notice that?
I can't do it.
Yeah, it's tough, man. It's really tough.
I feel so powerful after I eat a steak. Like when I have a steak, I love my steak. I gotta send you that link to those MegaFit meals. Those MegaFit meals are incredible.
Yeah, why haven't you sent that to me yet?
I'm gonna send you that link. I gotta tell you something.
You've been sending me the link, and I haven't gotten it. You know,
I'm gonna send it to you, and I gotta tell you, I got some good news too from them.
Okay. I know where you're going with this, but yeah, I mean, a lot of people going vegan though, man. I can do like vegan like meals, but I can't do like for any sustained amount of time.
Yeah, I can do vegan meals too.
Yeah, I mean, because they're good. I mean, they are good. I mean, this plant-based stuff, it's all good, but I can't do it for any sustained amount of time, man.
Gotta have my beef, brother.
The Indian foods, like a lot of the Indian food is vegan too. Like they have that. Yeah. What's that stew? It has the potatoes, the chickpeas.
Is that the curry that
curry? I think you're talking about curry, right?
No, but it has it's a stew. It has curry in it, but it's like potatoes, and it's got chickpeas, and it's got peas in it, and it's got onions and celery and stuff. It's really good.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, they have a lot of them. Even like Chinese vegetables. I mean, even when you do like Chinese vegetables and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That you get at the restaurants and stuff. Those are really good too, man.
I'm not crazy about tofu though. You like tofu?
Yeah.
No.
What's not to like? I mean, really, what's not to like though? I mean, because it absorbs the flavor of the food.
Yeah, you know what I like? I like tempeh, but I guess that's
tempeh is really good. You know what?
I like tempeh, but I don't like tofu. But I guess tempeh does have tofu in it to some doesn't
tempeh,
it?
If you put it on a sandwich, you can use it as like a sandwich type thing. You can put it on like a sandwich or something like that. It's like a good substitute for meat.
No, you can grill it. It's awesome when you grill it too. Yeah,
for sure. The the other thing they use as meat too is mushrooms. They use that's how they make those patties and stuff like that, like the burger.
I like veggie burgers. Yeah, I like veggie burgers.
They use that in black beans and stuff. I heard. The other thing too, Raphael Dawkins said he's half vegan.
What's the other? I don't want to say what the other half is.
Portobello mushrooms is the other thing they use. I mean, and that you could really use that as like beef and that kind of, not beef, but it's got that replacement type of feel. You know what I mean?
I know what you're saying.
So there you go. There's our vegan rant for the day. Did I mention that we're on Showtime? Did I mention that we were on Showtime? Did I mention that we were on All Access to Clarissa Shields, Christina Hammer? Did I mention that at 2:45, at 2 minutes and 45 seconds of the video, you can hear our show? Did I mention that, Robert?
Yep, that's outstanding stuff. Good for us.
How is that? Is that awesome or what?
Yeah. Sorry I wasn't here for that. I would have loved to have been.
Chakal from Tijuana says, in Mexico, all the boxers are going vegan. How about that? Yeah, because they can't eat any tacos. They get popped for
hey, no more clenbuterol, right?
That's what they get popped, yeah. No wonder they're all going vegan over there. Poor guys.
Robbie's going vegan.
No way. I got to have my beef, brother. Got to have my beef.
Man loves his meat. I don't know.
Robbie, what'd you have for supper tonight?
I haven't had supper. I won't have it till after the show.
It's like 1 p.m. over there. What are you talking about? It's like
no, it's 5:17 over there, buddy.
Yeah.
I know. After the show, I'll have supper.
You gotta be nourished before you come on this show. We need, you have to have at least drink a protein shake or something, kid.
Oh, don't worry. I'm in good shape, brother.
Please.
Suleiman in the chat asking, when is Manuel Char going to defend his world title? Oh, man, your guess is as good as mine, man. I'll tell you what.
And he likes Manuel Char. He comes on and asks about him a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a good fighter, man. All right, let's talk about the news and rumors here. This one got a lot of heat this week. This week and last week, actually. Kubrat Pulev. All right. We all know the story that he was getting interviewed by Jenny Sushi. Is it Sushi? What was her name?
Sushi, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why that's her name too.
Yeah, I know. It's like her nickname. It's not her actual name, but
but I'll tell you why it's her nickname. You're gonna laugh when I tell you this.
Oh yeah, I know. I saw the pictures. Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh, you did see the pictures? Okay.
Yeah. So the story continues to unfold daily. So we know that Pulev kissed a reporter while doing an interview. The reporter acted surprised and laughed, and later Pulev put out a report saying that he knew her, she was a good friend, It turns out this may not have been true, because she turned around and hired Gloria Allred to represent her and said that she was assaulted. You know what? And good for her. You know, I mean, after that, you know, I tell you what, you don't put your hands on other people. That's just the long and short of it. You don't put your hands on anybody. That's the way it goes. You know? Well, after that, a video surfaces of her at a party, allegedly with Pulev. Like Pulev was at Pulev's after party kind of thing. And shows her giving a lap dance to one of the people there who was not Pulev. But the video was said to be later that night after the so-called kiss took place. I don't know. And Cali King says, you guys are mad late on this one. Yeah, I get it. But I've been out of town. What do you want? We want to talk about it now.
The champion went on a vacation, brother.
I did a video on it on Sunday, so
yeah,
we talked
we're not too late on it. We're weighing in late. Come on.
Eric just wants Eric wants to give his take on it. You guys are right to do that.
Yeah, that's right. I couldn't give my take because we didn't have Wi-Fi deep on the side of the mountain where I was. So that's where it was too. We were like
plus this story never gets old. It's hilarious.
It is. It really is. So the thing is, man, at the end of the day, listen, man, you should, again, you should just keep your hands to yourself. And the video posted and all this other stuff, and they call her Jenny Sushi Beeb. Why?
Because she puts sushi on her body and pays, people have to pay to eat it off her body.
Oh my God. Is that a true story?
That's true. Because it's
100% true story. Jason, Jason actually sent me pictures of this chick before this even happened. This is how like on another level Jason is with like creepiness. All right, he sent me like this chick, and he was like, check these pictures out. And this is chick. She's got sushi all over her, you know. And it's the same girl. Like 2 days later, she gets into it with Pulev. It's like the same girl. And but like he knows like all the ring girls and stuff like that. I mean, he knows all of them, you know.
Eric, on Monday, I was listening to another show, and
how dare you?
The person that was on the show said he was at ringside for the Pulev fight, and he said he was sitting at the media table, and you could tell that she didn't belong because she's never covered a fight before, and he said all the media that was around, whenever somebody new comes along, they always get suspicious because, you know, all the boxing media who cover fights on a regular basis, they know who each other is. And it was unusual, and she just showed up out of nowhere. He thought that this was some kind of setup.
No, well, you know what? That's true and not true at the same time. I mean, like, you know, when you go there, I mean, and because, you know, being a superstar like myself who's on Showtime and, you know, everywhere else, listen, I go there, obviously I'm recognized, you know, and people love me. People love me all over the world. But, you know, you go there and nobody really, I mean, you may recognize a couple of people over there depending on what fight it is. I wouldn't have expected like the Pulev fight to have like a bunch of stars there, you know, or a bunch of people that we recognize from the media. A lot of different people are always there. And it's not even like same people or anything like that. Sometimes you run into the same guys over and over. But, yeah, I mean, it's different people. So I wouldn't have thought anything of seeing her there, you know, or seeing somebody different, you know, and maybe that's their first time there or whatever. But most people know how to act. Most people, you know, are not stupid, you know. But I don't know, man. This whole thing rubs me the wrong way in the sense that, like, you know, and Steve Kim actually touched on this earlier, and it was kind of my feeling on it too. What about the real women who are trying to make a go of this? You know, making a go at podcasting or doing shows and interviewing fighters or being a journalist and making, you know, being a reporter or just being involved in the game, you know, in the game of boxing. What about that?
Yeah, well, according to what Steve said, Eric, she was dressed very inappropriately for covering a fight.
100% she was dressed inappropriately. Fina Boxing, and I can point them out too. Fina Boxing, you know, is another, and I don't know if it's just one girl or maybe it's I don't know. But I only see one girl doing it. Beeb, you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, there's a couple people, but there's usually her. There's another girl that works with her too. She does stuff too. Yeah.
And they're all, I mean, at least the videos I saw, dressed extremely inappropriately. I don't know how you felt about it, Beeb. I thought it was pretty inappropriate.
Well, this is the problem. You know, we people get a lot of stick for criticizing females covering the sport of boxing. But let me just ask you this one question. Why every time a female covers the sport, why is it always the same type of female, dressed the same type of way? And then we're getting criticized for being haters on these women. But are they really there in front of the camera because of what they know and how good of an interviewer they are, or is it because of how they look and how they're dressed?
Well,
that's the thing. I mean, and I know that people are going to slaughter me for saying this, but I'm not going to mention names, but let's look at all of these females that cover the sport, and let's look how they dress, and let's look and that's not only that. Let's look when they interview, what they do and their body language and what they do when they're interviewing the fighters. Now, two wrongs don't make a right here. So what Pulev did was stupid. But this girl is not upset at what Pulev did. She was embarrassed by what Pulev did, not because of what he did at the time and not because of her moral compass or her beliefs as a woman. Because if you look at this footage of her before she even interviewed Pulev, walking up to him, putting her arm around him, taking her hand, rubbing his stomach, literally inches above his you-know-what, and that's not what you do when you're being professional. You don't push up on someone, grab them and rub them and caress their body when you're trying to get an interview with them, and sticking her breasts in his face. So,
oh, how dare you!
This girl is a freak. And
no, this is accurate. This is accurate stuff, Eric.
This girl is a freak, and it's her right to be a freak if she wants to be a freak, because technically she wants to be a freak behind closed doors. She doesn't want people to see that she's a freak. So she has every right to do what she wants to do. That's fine. I'm not criticizing her for that. But for her to sit there and say, oh, how offended she wasn't offended. She was probably embarrassed because the camera was there. But this is who she is. She was given lap dancing. Oh, I went to the after party. I went to the after party because I wanted to get interviews. But meanwhile, you're supposed to be so distraught at what this guy did. So why would you want to be in the same room with them at an after party with them? And why would you be lap dancing on allegedly his brother's lap or his friend's lap? So her embarrassment was not because of what she did. Her embarrassment or what was done to her. Her embarrassment is because it was on camera. So she's a freak, this girl.
Oh, well, this is a problem I have with.
Stop.
She's a freak. She's a freak. And she did it. And now she's doing it because everyone was on Twitter saying, "Oh, you're going to allow him to do that to her? How did you feel?" She was shamed into filing this lawsuit.
Oh, how dare
because
you.
she didn't care about it. She waited a day or two before she did it because of all of the heat she was getting on Twitter. She was embarrassed because of the people, what the people said about what happened to her. She did this out of embarrassment, not because she was actually because of her beliefs. She was shamed into doing this. Now this still does not absolve Pulev. Two wrongs don't make a right. But again, she was flirting with him. She was pushing up on him from the jump, right from the jump. Okay? So there was something going on that led up to this. Make no mistake about it. Go ahead, Robbie.
This is the problem I have with this. With everything going on in our society today, with the Me Too movement and the Time's Up thing, we guys are supposed to be mindful of how we're supposed to treat a woman. When a female acts like this, it sets their cause back several decades. And there's legitimate women in the media business They're actually trying to do a job. And an idiot like this is going to make it difficult for them to actually continue to do their job because, in the future when fight promoters and stuff hand out, press credentials, some of them may question, well, should we give her a credential? How long, I bet this is going to make it difficult for a legitimate woman who's covering the sport to actually continue to do her job because of situations like this. This is backward stuff, man. And, I hope nothing comes of this lawsuit because, yeah, you're right, two wrongs don't make a right, but she did a hell of a display of herself.
Well, let me ask you guys a question. Imagine if I'm interviewing Christina Hammer in person. Can I walk up to Christina Hammer and put my arm around her and rub her belly like that?
Belly? Yeah.
Absolutely not.
And stick my 46-inch chest on her and rub it up against her.
I know.
And take my 17-inch python and hug her like that. What would happen if I did all those things? That's what I want to know.
You'd be thrown out of there so quick it would make your head spin. Now, if I did those things, obviously they'd be reciprocated, but that's me. I'm a star.
Yeah,
I mean, that's I'm on Showtime. What are you gonna do? Say no to me?
Yeah.
I mean, the bottom line. But let me ask you guys, though, in all seriousness, it shouldn't matter what she had on, right?
Unfortunately, Eric, in this case, I think it does because of all the video evidence.
Okay, so so you're saying that if somebody was raped, you're the guy that asked her what she was wearing.
Well, I'll tell you this, Eric.
Hang on.
Go ahead.
No, I wouldn't because I've seen enough cases on TV. No, I wouldn't. That wouldn't be one of the first questions I'd ask.
Right, but she was assaulted. No.
Yes,
you would consider that assault, right?
Yes.
She had her butt grabbed. He kissed her. Uninvited kissed her.
He said he didn't grab her butt. He said he just kissed
let's throw that out of it. We all saw him kiss her.
Right.
She kissed him.
Yeah.
Intentionally kissed her. She didn't want to be kissed. She didn't invite for it to be kissed. That was wrong. That's assault. Plain and simple,
That's correct?
Yeah.
All right. Doesn't matter what she was wearing. If she just came out of the shower with a towel and started interviewing him, we would say that's inappropriate. But we would also say that that person does not deserve to be assaulted, right?
That's correct.
Correct.
All right. Beeb, go ahead with your point. I'm sorry.
When you said, does it matter what she's wearing?
Yes.
It doesn't matter what she's wearing in terms of him being it doesn't excuse him for doing what he did or for any man to sexually assault or assault or manhandle a woman in any way. But it does matter what she's wearing because how can I take her serious for covering an event dressed in that attire? So
100%.
in that regard, I think it does matter what she's wearing.
Well, and my point about the whole thing was, she shows up in this skimpy outfit. It was completely inappropriate for the occasion. And I mentioned that the Pheno boxing or whatever it is, and those girls that do those interviews, to me, dress completely inappropriately. And again, and my wife will say, well, it shouldn't matter what they wear. You're 100% right. It doesn't matter what they wear. That being said, what does matter is that when they wear that stuff, when they wear the attire, that they look like they should be at a club instead of a sporting event doing a professional job of reporting, all right, what does matter is that they're not going to be taken seriously. And what does matter is that the women who try to do this and try to do shows and try to interview people and be taken seriously.
Would you consider these women feminists at all in any way, dressed like that?
I don't know. I don't know. Because feminists can dress any way they want. I mean, they do. I mean, they'll dress whatever.
But what's the mantra? The mantra of the feminists.
And I know where you're going with this. And
no. Why do men objectify us? Right. You objectify.
She's wearing that so that you look at her shoes. I mean, that's the thing.
So you can't have it both ways. She's up there giving a speech with Gloria Aldred, trying to come off as some type of feminist. I'm doing this for other women because no one should be treated like this. This is where the whole thing goes wrong, because she's trying to portray this image that's just not true. This is a money grab. This is a money grab. She was willing to laugh this off. She was willing to laugh this off.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I mean, and I don't know if it's a money grab or not, but I will say this.
Well, I think
for her
is.
saying she's doing this for the other women and stuff, the best thing you can do is do a good job. You know, and again, I mean, look at Michelle Rosado is a perfect example of somebody that we all respect. I mean, and she's not a reporter, obviously, she's a promoter. I would argue that it's harder to get in promotion than to do reporting. I imagine.
And remember, Michelle Rosado. Go ahead.
She's somebody that we all take seriously, that we all respect, and that does her job very, very well. And she broke into a job, with promotion, again, that's not all that easy to do for women. And she's broke down those walls. And we see again, people like, and my wife will say this. My wife will say this before I go into that point. My wife will say, Willis shouldn't. Robbie's dog again. She'll say, well, guys can wear anything, because the guys can wear a T-shirt to the event and still be, still be taken seriously. That's usually the attire that they wear. That's usually what they wear, is like T-shirts, or some people wear shirts. I mean, just regular clothes. But I will tell you this: if I showed up in a plaid sports coat, in green pants, and a yellow tie, and a red shirt, do you think I'd be taken seriously by anybody?
No.
No, right?
Yeah, but do we wear spandex to these events? Do we wear tank tops? Do we wear muscle shirts?
Right, exactly. No, we don't.
We dress like Butch Lewis. We have like a jacket with no shirt on underneath it.
And Beeb, that's the other thing. I said, if we wore a sports jacket with no shirt, a la Butch Lewis, and came in there, I mean, wouldn't we? Nobody's going to take us seriously.
Yeah, we get laughed at.
We get laughed at. We get laughed out of the building. So why is it okay for her to dress like this? And the other thing is, the fact that she was out at that after party and giving some guy a lap dance. Number one, I didn't see Pulev in the video. It was reported that it was his after party and this and that. Number one, I didn't see Pulev in the video. But that being said, I don't know that really matters. I don't know that it really matters at all. Whether he was there or he wasn't there. And I don't think it still doesn't make what happened to her any less assault. And I think
Eric,
short of it.
Eric, think about it this way too. Yes, we all agree that she got assaulted, and if she's really bothered by that, why would she go to the after party?
Why does it matter? She was assaulted.
Matter.
She was assaulted, right?
Well, but she
we
lied.
All agreed. She was assaulted.
Lied. Did she lie though?
Huh?
Did she lie?
Did she lie that she was assaulted?
No. Did she lie that she went to that party to get interviews because it was for business?
That I don't know. I mean, clearly not. I mean, listen.
If you're on a jury and that's being brought up to you, you're going to believe, and you're in the jury and you're in the chambers, and they say, "Guys, do you believe she went to that after party for business or pleasure?" I'm gonna say I think she went there for pleasure. I think she lied.
Listen, so it's a tough road for her.
That damages her credibility.
100% it does. 100%. Yeah, for 100%.
She lied.
Damages her credibility. She did lie or not, I don't know, but it definitely puts a wrench in
If I was on the jury, I would not believe her case.
She lied.
Right, but Robert, I mean, in that sense though, like you said because what she was wearing that she wasn't assaulted, or that it was like
I didn't mean to say she wasn't assaulted. Of course she was, but unfortunately, when you wear certain kinds of clothes in public, you open yourself up for things to happen. Now, did she want it to happen? I don't think so. But that's why if you're in the media, especially in a business like this where you're going to be on camera, you got to be careful about the situations you put yourself in. And unfortunately, if you're female, and in this case, what you wear does make a difference, Eric. I wasn't saying that she wasn't assaulted. Of course, she was.
Yeah, but Eric,
let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question, Robert. If you were at the grocery store and a naked woman came up to you and just started talking to you, would you grab her and kiss her or touch her inappropriately?
Absolutely not, because number one, I was raised better than that.
Right, because you are responsible for your own actions. You are responsible for your hormones. You're responsible for your actions.
That's right.
Right. So why isn't Pulev held to the same standard?
Well, no, I'm saying he should be, Eric.
Right.
But she makes it difficult because of the way she presented herself. Now, I'm not excusing him for what he did, but unfortunately, when you go out in public looking a certain way or dressed a certain way, if you're female, in some cases, you're asking for trouble.
Speaking of pheno boxing, did you know that they released a video themselves because they were disgusted for what she did? They released a video of her walking up to Pulev and grabbing him and rubbing on him and sticking her breasts in, and they were upset. You know why? Because they said she's ruining it for the rest of us.
Well, that was my whole point earlier.
And that's what she was. A lot of women came out against
cover
her.
Up and then they can talk about it. All right, how about
because she was there flirting with Pulev.
Well, you remember the girl? Who was the girl with the Billy Joe Saunders interview where she was laying down on the couch with him or whatever? And
Michelle Joy Phelps.
Yeah, that's another. Yeah, listen.
I don't want to bring her
seriously. You want to be.
I don't want to bring her up either, but.
Yeah, I mean, but you want to be taken seriously. You can't do stuff like that. You can't play that card.
But Pheno Boxing posted a video of her walking up to him, smiling and flirting with. She was flirting with Poole. So this is the problem.
For Pheno Boxing for putting that out, but they do the same stuff.
But she was flirting
with the fighters.
She was flirting with him, touching him, rubbing him, putting her arm around him, grabbing him, rubbing his stomach, all this shit. So she was flirting with him.
Yeah.
So she cannot take the moral high ground here.
No.
She can't.
Listen,
she can't.
I mean,
the money grab. The fucking money grab.
I don't know. And that'll be decided in court, I'm sure. And I hope Pulev doesn't budge. Yeah, I really do.
She waited a couple days before she filed because she was getting shamed on Twitter. She was shamed into doing it. She was shamed into doing it. The problem is she's a freak behind closed doors. He did it in front of the camera. That's the thing. But she didn't know she was being taped when she walked up to him to get the interview either. And she didn't know she was being taped when she got the lap dance. So if she sees a camera, she's going to be all professional. But when a camera's not there, she doesn't think a camera's there, then that's her true colors. Now she has every right to do what she wants to do in her private life. But if I go up to somebody and I rub them and touch them, and I flirt with them, and I stick my 46-inch chest in someone's face, that's a female, it's not going to be acceptable. It's not going to be acceptable.
No, this case does not have a leg to stand on because of all the video evidence.
It shouldn't be acceptable when she does it.
This case ain't going to go nowhere because of all the video evidence. She's going to lose.
Her credibility is in the toilet right now.
Suleiman, yes, we are taking calls. All right, let's move on here. Let's move on to our next topic here. Let's talk about this Shakur Stevenson thing. He was involved in a brawl and a video surfaces. This is a very ugly situation, man. A video was released of Shakur Stevenson in a brawl. The video was actually taken on June 2018, and apparently he was arrested for this, and it was kind of kept hush-hush, but the video surfaced. And if you get the chance to see the video, it's really, really awful. It was said to take place around Stevenson's 21st birthday. The video shows Stevenson and another boxer, David Grayton, get into an altercation with what looked to be 2 women and 1 guy. The video shows David Grayton hitting both women, and both Grayton and Stevenson beating up the guy. The guy was on the ground. Stevenson hit him with about 3 uppercuts. The last one clearly put him out. Valets were there. This all took place in a parking garage. The valets were there seen trying to break up the fight, but it was pretty clear they were out of their element, and they backed off as soon as punches got thrown, which I don't blame them, you know. I mean, that's not much they can do. The group that was assaulted said that Stevenson and Grayton approached them and were making sexual innuendos at him and all that other stuff. This is terrible. I mean, this is that video. Beeb, you saw the video, right?
I didn't actually watch the video, but I saw like the article with the video in it. I'm going to go back and watch the video.
It's awful. I mean, and I retweeted it out. I retweeted the video so you can catch it on my Twitter at Ringside73. But really just vile stuff. I mean, it was really awful. And a lot of people were, you know, making fun of Stevenson about the way, you know, he should have fought better. I mean, it's not even a joking matter. I mean, it was really vile to watch that. You know, I'm not a big fan of like street fights as it is, you know, but, you know, that was just like, come on, man. I mean, this is a guy. What are you doing this for? I mean, like, you got a big future ahead of you and you're pulling stuff like this. Like, you know, these guys, like, this is the kind of thing we talked about this a couple weeks ago. This is the kind of thing that should get fighters suspended. You know what I mean? This is the type of thing that should get fighters suspended. The fact that he has a fight coming up and this stuff comes out, you know, the video server. I mean, this type of stuff, again, there should be some kind of disciplinary action for it. But there can't be because we have no sanctioning body. We have no, like, one, you know, like if this happened in the UFC, this could be a different matter. If this happened, you know, in the NFL, it would be a different matter. But it happens here where nobody really governs anybody, you know? And it's just unfortunate. You know, it really is. And,
well, since he's scheduled to fight at the Garden, do you think the New York State Athletic Commission would step in and suspend it?
No, they're not stepping in. They're not stepping in for this. You know, and he was arrested. I mean, I don't know how you know, he was arrested. This was like a year ago, back in June. So if anything were to happen, it should have already taken place. But, you know, I don't know. So there you go. Robbie's boy, Paulie Malignaggi, slapped Artem Lobov at Media Day. As we all know, Paulie signed with BKFC, the Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Anyway, they had a Media Day, and Artem Lobov was there. He fights for the same promotion. Artem Lobov, in case you don't know, is very close to Conor McGregor. I guess I think the two are both in the same camp and all that other good stuff. You know, and I think they're training partners and all that. But him and Lobov, Paulie and Lobov got to arguing, and Paulie, like, slapped him. And it wasn't like a really hard slap. It was just like, you know, it wasn't even really anything too major. But then the two had to be separated immediately. And, you know, Paulie is still on the whole Conor McGregor thing. Did you guys notice that? I mean, he has not let this go.
No.
I mean, this is something that really haunts him at night. You know?
Eric, I think he's stupid for signing up with these people anyway. I mean, here's a guy that only had 7 knockouts in his entire boxing career. I mean, how successful can a guy like Paulie Malignaggi be in this kind of setting? I think it's a stupid move, and believe me, with all the work he gets with over in the UK and Showtime and other places, I don't think he seriously needs the money. What the hell is he doing?
I don't get it. I don't get it either. I don't know what he's doing. So, I don't know. All right. Let's go to area code 718. That's New York, yeah?
That's Suleiman, yes.
Suleiman, you're on the air.
Suleimani!
Hey, how you doing?
Suleiman,
we're good, man.
Good?
So jumping into that conversation. Yeah, Paulie got something wrong with him, man. I think Danny Garcia will let focus on Danny Garcia. and Sam Eggington affected his brand because he's making good money, being a reporter, and he's pretty professional at it. I don't think he should be fighting anymore. You know what I'm saying? If he wants to do training and train a fighter, that's a good idea. Now, getting back to professional reporting, this guy's a very good professional reporter. We are an example to that lady. But at the end of the day, she was doing reporting, man. She has a fascination with the boxer, right? But it doesn't mean that he has to put his hands on her or sexually harass her in that way, because she's just trying to get information, right? So she can make a good article and pass that information to us, the people that that follow him in the sport. So he should never have done that. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if the girl got, how she dressed, because now even the gold manufacturer over here is getting away with it too. Everybody's going casual. So if a woman could be dressed casual, and if she's attractive, what do you mean? Like she's putting the goods out? No. And now in New York State, they have this sexual harassment law. So we have to be professional at all times. I mean, 9 out of 10 women that you deal with are attractive women. So why should we find that as a opportunity to conduct in an unprofessional manner? And that's not a bad-looking guy. He probably have a wife, or he probably has kids and a couple of women on the side anyway. So why should he conduct himself in that manner? You know what I'm saying?
The whole thing was bad, man. The whole thing was bad.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, the whole thing was bad, and that was a tough fight, man. He almost lost that fight. So people are forgetting that he got an injury in that fight. He fought a very tough opponent that gave him a run for his money, and he prevailed. And and he almost got disqualified because he was punching the guy in the back of the head and everything. So by them doing this scenario, that took a lot away from the fight. You know what I'm saying? Because we got to see it. We all dwelling in the sexual harassment thing, but we're not dealing with the performance of his fight. You know what I'm saying? Which he almost lost.
Yeah.
And he's coming up in age. He needs to fight for a title. I don't know why that guy is not fighting Manuel Charles. I don't know why Manuel Charles is not getting the publicity he deserves. Manuel Charles is a WBA regular champion. Okay, he hasn't fought nobody. You know what I'm saying? Alfredo Kendo is way up there in age. And this guy is not getting no fights, man. He's all over his IG. He's trying to get the PR work done on his circuit. But these guys are just not signing him up or anything. I don't hear Dazin signing him up. I don't hear nobody wanting to sign this guy up. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I hear while everybody's complaining about opponents, but you got a regular champion right there. You got another one in Schenectady. He was the interim WBA champion. Nobody wants to fight him. If Joshua don't want to fight him, right, then fight the next guy for the next version of the belt. And you still unify those titles. So I don't see what's the logic. Even Keith Thurman wants to fight the regular champion, right? Keith Thurman doesn't want to fight Errol Spence or anybody else, but he's pushing for that fight with Manny Pacquiao. So how come nobody wants to fight the WBA regular heavyweight champ?
There's no money there.
No money. That's why.
He's pushing to fight Pacquiao.
No money.
Because there's a lot of money.
Okay. How much money? Deontay Wilder is going to get to fight Dominic Breazeale? He's got a contract, right? He's going to make a couple of million, right? So if he gets $2 million or $3 million plus the proceeds and everything, they could give him that fight, man, and he becomes a regular champion too. So he has 2 belts, and he could push this guy to fight him or restrict him for his belt. Because if he has the regular title, then he could push. That's what Triple G did when he was a middleweight. He kept pushing and pushing. He became the interim WBC champion. He kept pushing and pushing till he had to fight. You know what I'm saying? So that's what they got to do. This guy Deontay Wilder, what he got to do, he got to close all the avenues for AJ, and he go get him in the ring. Because at the end of the day, once AJ starts tasting that gunpowder from this guy's hands and his punches, every opponent he's fought, he's dropped. Every opponent he's fought, he's hurt. Once he starts tasting that gunpowder from those hits, it's gonna be a wake up call for AJ. AJ's gonna say, wait a minute, I'm in with a real fighter. I'm not fighting no full suffering dude. I'm fighting a real dude. know what I'm saying? That's why all these guys are hesitant to fight Deontay Wilder. All the chitty chat and all that stuff that they're doing, all that talking, at the end of the day, that's the guy that could hurt you, because he fought a guy bigger than him, his last opponent, dropped him, and if that fight would have been anywhere else, he would have got a TKO. Because the ref would have stopped the fight. The guy was knocked out. He probably got woken up. Now the guy, he got shook from that fight and doesn't even want to give him a rematch. He signed up with ESPN. He's going to fight some cornball that nobody knows about. That they say he's been ranked for the WNBA for years, but nobody wants to fight him. So this is the guy that they should be a little extra pushy, because he has the upper hand. He should right now. Deontay Wilder should be having a tantrum. He should be bringing the house down right now. Because he's the one with the talent. He's the one that's hurting people in the ring. He's the one that's defending his championship. But this guy, Tyson Fury, he didn't defend his unified titles, okay? People give him all this hoop and holler because he beat old Vladimir Klitschko, who's actually making a comeback because he's trying to cash in on his name. He got stripped for his belts because he was on drugs. He's not a great fighter. I don't care what anybody says. He got a pity-packed shocking shot. He's a clown. He's a bozo. He's a big bozo that knows how to box, because he doesn't hurt nobody with his punches. I mean, most of his knockouts have been up to subpar opponents, but then everybody's saying, oh, Deontay Wilder, he's been fighting bums. Deontay Wilder, in my opinion, fought better fighters than Tyson Fury. He fought better fighters. He fought Berman Stavern when Berman was on top of the game, and he broke Chris Avio's nose in one of those fights and beat him twice. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So now all these guys are putting Tyson Fury way ahead of him. Tyson Fury looked horrible in that fight, man. He got hurt in that fight. He got dropped. Okay, he was way out of shape still. Compared, he should have not even took that fight. But they put him there. They signed the fight because he thought he was going to get knocked out. So what he should do now is give him the rematch and try to be the champ, or just forget about it and just go into his be another Hugh Fury and just fade away. You know what I'm saying? Because well, in that fight, Eric, who you think won that fight?
Which fight?
So tell me, Tyson Fury won that fight, man.
Tyson Fury over Deontay Wilder?
Tyson Fury against Deontay Wilder.
We all thought Tyson Fury won, man.
Yeah, Fury won.
Okay, how did Tyson Fury won the fight, man? If you see that this guy had no marks on him. Okay, you're talking about the P-Pap.
Because of Tyson's boxing skills, Wilder couldn't handle the movement.
Yeah, we all had it 116, 112. I mean, we had it
right.
Wilder couldn't handle the movement, but Wilder was conserving his speed, man. If you see the fight now, after all the hoop and hollering, and forget about look at the fight now. He was conserving his speed through the fight. He wasn't getting hurt. Okay, the guy was using the shocking jab. He dropped the guy twice. In the last round, he knew the guy was not going to get up. He paced himself beautiful for that fight, man. But then, but at that time, because of the open holler they're giving this Tyson Fury guy, they try to steal the fight from him. And that's why he didn't want to take that fight. You know what I'm saying? And this is the reason AJ wants to fight him in England, because if he fights him over there, they could rob him for his title. They're not going to give him a fair fight, man. They're not going to give Deontay. The only way Deontay Wilder could get a fair fight with one of these British guys, which they're all hyped, because they're like that guy, that Johnny Nelson fighter. That Johnny Nelson fighter got a subpar title. He was a guy with multiple losses, wasn't a great fighter, but now he's like a big-time reporter, and he's hyping up all these second-tier fighters from the UK. All those guys are second-tier fighters, man. Even to me, Lennox Lewis, he's not in the caliber of Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder,
90 seconds.
Carries a punch. Lennox Lewis, on the other hand, has been knocked out by subpar opponents. He beat them in a rematch, right? But he lost. He got knocked out several times. Okay, and he fought an old Tyson, Mike Tyson. That's the best win he has in his resume. What else Lennox Lewis has? If they fought now and they're playing both of them, Deontay Wilder would have knocked him cold.
Lewis?
Because he had no chin.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, no. Lennox Lewis is...
seconds.
Oh, man, come on.
No, I don't think
what
so.
Lennox Lewis has? He didn't look that good against Evander Holyfield. He didn't look that good.
He won every round.
He won every round. What are you talking about?
Man, you guys, I don't know. That guy right there will get knocked out cold, man. They gave him that WBC belt. I hear like everybody say how great. Look at the second stand. Look at the double standard, right? Lennox Lewis, right, got given the WBC belt, right, because Riddick Bowe dumped it. He didn't want it. And he knocked out Razor Ruddock, right? Knocked out Razor Ruddock, and they gave him the belt, right? But this guy, he won the belt from Birmingham Stavern, right? Beat him on points.
Like Birmingham Stavern was tearing it up, though, in heavyweight.
He knocked him out.
It's like...
Huh?
10 seconds.
Birmingham Stavern was the top of the game. He was doing good, man. You know, but you guys, because he knocked him out in the first round, you guys forgot about him. You guys
no, we didn't forget about him because remember the first time they fought, they went the distance, brother.
Went the distance.
And he boxed in that fight, and people complimented him for his boxing. But now I'm hearing all this crap, you know, like Deontay Wilder's not that good. He's a pretender for the title, and all this stuff. You know, and Beeb is big on Tyson Fury.
Suleiman, how can you say Deontay Wilder's not that good? He's had 7 successful title defenses, brother.
Yeah, I think, you know, and I don't know.
I mean, he's good, but the people are saying that he's not that good.
Well, I think what they say is the same thing.
He's
like
the money, but other people is not.
Yeah, I think though is that he's not that great of a boxer. If you're a pure boxer guy, he's not that great. He was getting beat by Gerald Washington. He was getting beat by. I thought Louis Ortiz was beating him, even though he was behind on the cards. I thought Louis Ortiz was winning that fight.
He paced himself beautifully in that fight. Yeah. In that fight, he paced himself beautifully with Gerald Washington, right? And he knocked him out. So even when he's sparring, he spars, right? To be spontaneous.
And Shakur in the chat brings up a good one.
He's sparring.
A good point is he doesn't have great technique either.
Huh?
He doesn't have speaking of Wilder, he doesn't have great technique. But
Robert, who was on there?
I don't know.
It was from Hayfork.
Yeah, I think his technique is good, but the problem is that he wants to be exciting. He wants to be exciting when he fights. He wants to be something like a Sugar Leonard. I think he could box. If Deontay needed to box, he could box, but he just doesn't want to. He wants to be exciting. He wants to be something like a Gervonta Davis, something like that. Like all those crop of fighters are superstars. All those guys from that side, and people say that the competition in this side is more vicious than ESPN. It's more vicious than DAZN. It's more vicious because the competition is intense. But look, you got Gervonta Davis. He's from them. He's from that pack. He's from the TMT pack, right? You got him. You got all those guys, Jamel Charlo. Those guys, Charlo lost on points to Harrison, and everybody's calling him washed up. He could just come back and knock everybody out because he got that stunning power. But they're already sleeping on him. You know what I'm saying? Because he got a little point. So, this guy lost 2 split decision losses. Danny Garcia, and people already sleeping on him. They say, "Oh, he's no good. He's washed up." The guy was knocking everybody out. You know what I'm saying? But he lost 2 split decision fights. Keith Thurman doesn't won. You mentioned his name near him. And then the other split decision was Sean Porter, who changed his whole game. And Sean Porter fought like a little miniature Lenin in that fight. And even him, they don't even give him the props that he deserves. The guy could box his ass off, his butt off, but they don't give him the respect. They don't give him the respect, you know what I'm saying? Because there's other fighters in that circuit, like Errol Spencer, who's very good. You know what I'm saying? He's a little higher than him in the level. He's undefeated. But Sean Porter, I think, could hang with Spence. Sean Porter could take Spence to a different level in that fight. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
So I just wanted to be, but you let give me opportunity to burn your show, man. Thanks a lot, man. Give me the opportunity. If you want me to continue, let me know.
Absolutely, Suleiman, man. We appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for calling in. Suleiman, always a good call. Always supports the show. We love it, man.
Damn.
Who do I send my medical bill to if I have an aneurysm on the show?
The phone has a mute button on it, Robbie, for a reason.
Well,
for a reason.
Unfortunately, my phone does not have one of those.
Yes, it does, Robbie.
No, it does not. And somebody just called, and that's what she was asking about.
It's a rotary phone.
No.
Is it a landline or a cell phone?
I'm on a landline. I wouldn't do this show on a cell phone. It'd sound like crap.
Reese Mack, thank you so much. Salute. Tony in the chat, salute. Chakal, salute. Joshua, salute. Slapnuts, salute. In unrivaled boxing talk and news, salute. MB, salute. He said Eric tried to keep a straight face, and it was impossible. Oh, my God. Classic. All right. Quickly. Eubank Jr. is training now with Virgil Hunter. Do you guys think that makes a difference at all?
No.
No.
I don't think it makes a difference either.
Bad idea.
Jamal Charlo and Brandon Adams are signed for June 15th or June 8th on Showtime. Charlo is now going to fight Brandon Adams. I think this is a good fight, man. I like Brandon Adams a lot. Friend of the show, by the way. I think it's a good fight. You guys think it's good?
Yeah.
I think it's a good fight. Triple G, who's he fighting next? Because I heard that he was going to fight Brandon Adams next, and clearly that's not the case.
No, we don't know.
Who was the guy? They were talking about him fighting Hassan and Dom. And I just think that's a waste of time fight.
Yeah, I think that is too.
Yeah, it is what it is, you know. Lou DiBella signs with UFC Fight Pass. UFC Fight Pass will feature DiBella's Broadway boxing series. So it's a good move for him, man. I'm surprised given the feelings that DiBella had against the UFC a couple of years back. But, yeah.
Well, maybe him and Uncle Dana have made up.
That's right, Uncle Dana. The money man, Uncle Dana. All right, guys, I think that'll do it for this edition of Ringside Reporter. Now, we'll be back on Sunday, same bat time, same bat channel, 7 o'clock on Sunday. And if news breaks, so of course, we'll be in here for it. As of right now, that'll do it. You can catch Robert on Twitter at Ringside Robert, or call Ringside Robbie's Corner at
773-572-7781.
That's right. Leave him a message. You can catch Joe Habib on Twitter at JHabib1. Find our YouTube channel at RingsideReporterLive.com. I'm at Ringside73 on Twitter, and we will see you next week.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you for using Blog Talk Radio.